Hello, Jim Howard here in Fort Worth, Texas. Today's date, it's December 9th of 2021. And this is going to be a short video. I'm not sure I can pronounce this guy's name. A comedian, a French citizen. I'm not sure this guy was a comedian, except when he made a police report. He was, let's see, on some TV show. I think it was actually made in Chicago. Let's see if I can see his name. Maybe I can pronounce it. I used to have a thing on my computer here that would pronounce words for me. Here it is. Okay. Jussie Smollett, guilty on 4 charges. He was an actor, former actor, in the TV show Empire. It says here the former Empire actor has been found guilty of, 5 counts of disorderly conduct for making false police reports that he was a victim of a hate crime. The headline underneath that says, Smoollett appeared rigid and gazed straight ahead following the reading of the verdict. And it says here, Snyder breaks down some charges Smoollett was found guilty of. The next headline says, a jury deliberated for more than 9 hours over 2 days. Then it says, next headline, CNN legal analyst, Smoollett exposed himself to jail time with his testimony. The next headline is, get caught up in the Jussie Smollett's saga. And then it goes on with more headlines. So let me bring over the Wikipedia thing. Looks like its last name is Jussie. Born June 21st, 1982. He began his career as a child actor in 1991. Acting careers such as The Mighty Ducks, 1992, Carl Reiner's North, 1994, and in 2015 he portrayed a musician, Jamil Lyon, in the Fox drama series Empire, a role that was hailed as groundbreaking for its positive depiction of a black gay man on television. Smollett also appeared in Ridley Scott's science fiction film Alien Covenant, 2017, and it goes on. So, if I remember correctly, I'll put links to this and I guess links to the, the headline. If I remember correctly, he was in Chicago in the wintertime, and okay, here's the CNN alert that I was sent. Actor Jussie Smollett has been found guilty on 5 of 6 felony counts of disorderly conduct for making a false report to Chicago police that he was a victim of a hate crime in January of 2019, an attack prosecutors said that he staged. The jury of 6 men and 6 women deliberated for more than 9 hours over Wednesday and Thursday. A disorderly conduct charge for a false crime report is a Class 4 felony and punishable by up to 3 years in prison and a $25,000 fine. The Cook County Judge, James Lynn, will have discretion in imposing a concurrent or consecutive sentence for each count at a later date. Then I could click and we could read more. But I'll put, well, that's an email, isn't it? Alert. Anyway, I never watched Empire. I never heard of this guy. I never watched any, I don't think I ever watched any of the other shows that he was ever on. But the way I heard, the way it came to my attention really was, I mean, I heard the news on it at the time because it was big news, because he's French, and because it was, a charge of racism in Chicago, and that's how I heard of it. But for me, if you can find the link, David Chappell, the black comedian, and I'm sure I heard of him, and I'm sure you heard of him too, because he's fantastic. His stand-up routines and he had a show that was successful, and on one of his stand-up routines, after this incident happened, he does a little part of his show saying, something. Did you all hear about it? Of course you did, or whatever. This thing, and when he did his, that wasn't his entire show. That was just one little thing that he talked about in there. I started laughing, and I was laughing so hard, I thought my side was going to explode or something. Because when David Chappelle did his skit on him, it's just, gold. I mean, if you could come up with that clip, or even the one that it's in on Amazon or whatever, there's probably an hour clip, or an hour from his comedy routine. And if you can come up with it, I'll put the link below to that, Amazon, Amazon clip. But in his routine, in his comedy routine, he I can't do it. It won't be funny. I can't do it. But he says, or he said, that, of course, he uses the N word, which I better not use, although I've used it before on YouTube videos here. And some of the times I've complained that, that you can't use it, and I think you should be able to use it if a newspaper or a story has, and then they have to say the say the N word. Not really, they can't say it. They have to say somebody said the N word, and that's kind of, But so I've used it. But David Chappelle, he's black, and he uses it all the time. So, but anyway, he tells this story, that it's like 3 a.m. in the morning in Chicago, and it's, 20 below zero or something or other. I forget the exact details. And this Smollett leaves his hotel or whatever, or maybe he's renting an apartment. I mean, I think the thing was filmed in, so he goes out onto the streets of Chicago at 3 a.m. in the morning, and he's walking alone over to get a pizza someplace, if I remember correctly, and two men jump out from someplace and say, I can't say the N-word, They jump out and say, are you the actor, the French actor, Jussie Smollett, who does the TV show, what did I just say it was called? And you're the gay, I think they might have said faggot or something, according to, whatever. And then they sprayed him with mace or something, and I forget what they did. Roughed him up a little or something, And so then he reported this crime to the police. And in David Chappell's comedy routine, he says, this made big news, worldwide. A French citizen and an actor, a star, and he said Hollywood people just went, oh, how terrible! This is just horrible, and terrible racism and all this kind of stuff. And also, not only, the man was black, but he was, a celebrity and French, and people in Hollywood just were, oh, this is, I think they blogged about it, they posted on Facebook about it, oh, this is just horrible, and it went on and on. And when David Chappelle was telling this thing about this, he said that, I think he said that he was performing, he was doing his tour, David Chappelle was, and I think he said that his wife called him and said, have you heard about what's going on, in Chicago or something? He said, no, And then he said, liberals, white liberals were just, appalled at, And he said, but black people, nothing, no, no rage about it, no, protest about this, racism and stuff like that. And he said, then the Hollywood community and others, were saying, why aren't they, of course he used, David Chappelle's black, so he used the N-word repeatedly, and said that, this community, they, why aren't the black people standing up? Why aren't we hearing protests from them? And then about this point, I think when I started just, laughing so hard at what, and then David Chappelle does, that the black people knew, nobody, nobody goes out in Chicago at 3 a.m. in the morning when it's a blizzard, and two, nobody really knew who this N-word was, guy, and they wouldn't walk up to him and say, are you, like the famous actor, French actor, Jussie Smollett or whatever. And he said the black people knew that this was all, that's not what happens, They don't, you know, and then he does probably, you know, like what they would have said was, you know, they wouldn't have said, you know, your name and are you the famous, you know, that type of stuff. Anyway, I was just, you know, laughing so hard. And then he does, Chappelle on his thing says, you know, the police, the Chicago police, then he did a little, his little skit about, you know, the police detective or whatever's there. Let's see, your name is, you know, okay. Now, okay, you left your place alone at 3 a.m. in the morning in a blizzard. Is that right? Just a minute. He went over to, you know, there. You know, he says that he, you know, he went out at 3 a.m. in the morning to get pizza, you know, and the other officer, what, you know? And these guys come up to him and said, are you so-and-so, the famous actor, you know, star of Empire or whatever, you know? And the other officer goes, so that's the story on this situation. I just had to bring it up because of Chappelle's, including in his video, that and because he was, you know, when he was doing it was like, you know, he was doing the police and the police knew, you know, and the black people in the United States, they knew. This is, you know, they don't walk up to, you know, a couple. I think he said, I think this poor victim of this thing, he says that, I forget if they were wearing, you know, mega hats or if they were wearing Nazi hats or whatever it was like, you know. So I just had to bring that up. I think, you know, there's 5 charges, and it's he could face 3 felony, or he could face 3 years in prison for each one of those. They could run concurrently all together, so he would have 4 felony convictions, and he could serve 3 years or whatever, and he could be fined. He could be fined $25,000 for each of them, you know. You know, he didn't mug anybody, or he just claimed that he was mugged, you know, and stuff. So I think he should pay the fine, and maybe he should pay it because I don't know if he has the money now. I mean, I don't know if is he working now. You know, because the police spent, oh, by the way, the police spent a bunch of time investigating this, a whole bunch of time. I remember it came out in the news that they had, when they said, hey, this didn't happen, and whatever, how many hours, you know, and how much money it cost for them to do the investigation. You know, there was probably that same night some you know, real victim, you know. And anyway, so if you happen to run across, I'll look a little bit for it, but if you happen to run across that, you know, I wouldn't play it because I'd get a copyright strike. But I'm not going to, you know, even monetize this. Anyway, a lot of my videos I don't monetize. But I won't, you know, but I don't want any copyright strikes, even if, you know. But anyway, I thought, well, they did. I forgot about this thing until this, really, because it was, you know, big news, and then pretty quick, after a few days or a week or something or other, it went to, like, you know, sort of a laughing stock, and then a little, you know, little backlash. I don't know if he lost the TV show, or I'm not, if I could pronounce his name, maybe I can't pronounce it correctly. Let's see if I can. I could ask my echo device here how much he's worth. Maybe I can enter it in here. How much is, oops. Here it is. How much is he worth? Oh, I see there's a spot. I didn't know there was a, I need to bookmark this. Okay, he's worth $500,000. American actor, singer, photographer, who has a net worth of $500,000. He's best known for his starring role on the television series Empire from 2015 to 2019. He also earned notoriety for his connection to an unusual attack incident that took place in Chicago in 2019. Looks like these people didn't want to be sued, but you know, there's no doubt that date of birth, he's 39 years old, 5'11", early life, career, and on January 29th of 2019, he reported to police that he'd been attacked by two white men wearing ski masks. He claimed that the attackers tied a noose around his neck, poured gasoline over his body, beat him, and hurled obscenities about his ethnicity and his sexual orientation. In his version of the events, the attackers recognized him from Empire and yelled, "Yeah, okay, this is mega country," unquote, referencing the slogan, "Make America Great Again," popularized by President Donald Trump. Well, if he's going to make up a story, he should have said that Donald Trump did it, you know. He could have said that Donald Trump was there. Over the following several weeks, Chicago PD ultimately learned that he was involved in planning of the attack, which was carried out by two brothers who knew him from being extras on Empire. The brothers reportedly, well, I didn't know this, the brothers were reportedly paid $3,500 to carry out the staged attack. In February 2019, a grand jury charged him with 4 felonies for filing a police report. He subsequently turned himself into the Chicago Police Department in March. All of the charges filed against him were dropped, but then in April, the city of Chicago filed a case against him that resulted in him being indicted by a Cook County grand jury on 6 counts. Both times charges were filed against him, and he pleaded not guilty, and it goes on and on. Oh, I will put a link to this too. So anyway, enjoy. If you can find the David Chappelle clip, or by the way, if you can find that clip on YouTube, you know, not the entire hour of Amazon's thing, but if you can find that clip, just where he talks about that, if David Chappelle does, I'll go ahead and link to it and put it, but you know, put it below, and you'll probably laugh yourself sick. I mean, you know. So anyway, thank you for watching. Let's see here.